All right, guys, nice job yesterday on the direct variation. I hope everything went okay as far as working things in Delta Math. And um, please know in Delta Math, you do have access to examples and videos for those problems. So if you get stuck on something, click on that stuff, let them help you. Also, obviously, don't hesitate to text me. I got a lot of texts yesterday. Love helping you guys. I don't mind that. That's all I'm sitting here doing, waiting on you to text me or email me so I can help you. So make sure you do that. Today we got joint variation, which is just uh, it's more than one variation. Yesterday we did inverse variation, where we had y equals a over x. Months ago we did direct variation, y equals a times x. Joint is when you have more than one variable, more than two. Like instead, yesterday we had y equals a over x. Today we're probably gonna have like a y and an x and a z. We're three variables instead of just two. So joint variation. I'm gonna try to keep this short, even though I'm having a hard time getting this started. Just want to make sure you're doing okay. We'll talk about today's assignment at the end of this video. All right, joint variation looks like this. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read through this thing. It says joint variation occurs when a quantity varies directly. So we're back to direct. Joint is direct variation most of the time. The product of two or more quantities. So a is still going to be our constant. So here's what it looks like. Z equals AXY. That means Z varies jointly with X and Y. P equals AQRS. P varies jointly with Q, R, and S. Notice the A is not in there because the A is the constant. It's not part of the variables that it is varied with. Now, I'll save that one. Don't forget this. Direct variation looks like this. We talked about that again yesterday, but we did that months ago. Inverse variation, that's what we did yesterday. Looks just like that. Y equals A over X. Remember, we also wrote it this way sometimes. X times Y also equals the same thing every time. And that's kind of how Delta Math likes to do it. All right, let's try a couple examples here. The variable z varies jointly with x and y. So I'm going to stop right there. And what that tells me is it's this. Z equals a times xy. Also, z is negative 75, just plugging that in, when x is 3 and y is negative 5. Write an equation that relates x, y, and z. So that's what I'm doing right now. Over here I have a negative 15. A equals negative 75. I divide both sides by negative 15. I'm going to get A is 5. There's my constant. So my equation is this. Y equals 5 times xy. Then it says, then find z when x is 2 and y is 6. So I wrote that equation wrong. Sorry about that. That should be z. My equation obviously has a z in it right there. Sorry about that. It says find z when x is 2 and y is 6. So x is 2 and y is 6. All you do is multiply all that out. 5 times 2 is 10, times 6 is 60, and there's your answer. So the two things they asked you for was the equation, which is there, and the answer, which is 60. Not bad at all, I don't think. All right, write an equation for each given relationship. Just make sure you got them all straight. The first one says y varies directly with x. Sorry, varies inversely. I'm having a hard time reading today. Varies inversely. That's what we did yesterday. So I'd say a over x. The next one, z varies jointly as x, y, and r. Part C, y varies inversely with the square of x. With the square means I'm going to put x squared in my denominator. This one says z varies directly with y and inversely with x. So I'm going to put a times y. That's directly inversely over x, which means a over x. So you can do all that at once if you want to. And the last one, x varies jointly with T and R, and inversely is S. Inversely is just going to go on the bottom. So I hope you're seeing a pattern now. When it says inversely, you're going to have division. It's going to go in your denominator underneath the A. Same thing here. When you have directly, it's going to go right beside the A as multiplication. Okay, I'm going to show you. I have two here. I'm not sure I'll do both of them. They're just alike. Copy this out of your book so you could see one more example. This is the exact same thing I showed you a second ago, but I'm going to show you one more. Let's do number 9. I think that'll be enough. So let's try number 9 right here. This is the variable z varies jointly with x and y. So here I go again. Z equals a x, y. That's how you set up varies jointly. And it says write an equation relating them and then find z when they give you those things. So first I'm going to write the equation using these values. So z is 7 when x is 1 and y is negative 2, which means a is going to be negative 7 halves. And I just multiply my 1 times negative 2 and divided the other side by -2. So my equation, which is the first part of my answer, is this: -7/2 xy. There's my equation. I did it again. That should be a z. I keep doing that. That's the second time on this video. Okay, that should be a z. All right, so there's the equation. Then it says find z when x is -2 and y is 5. So I'm going to use that equation. I'm going to say z equals a, which I now know is -7/2. X is -2, y is 5. I'm just going to multiply all that out right there, and it's going to give me -35 when I punch that in my calculator or work it out. And that's all you do. There's my equation of my joint variation, and there's my value of z when I plug those numbers in, right? And go back and watch this again if you need to. That problem right there is mainly what you're going to be seeing in your assignment. I do need to tell you about your assignment real quick. Instead of doing Delta Math has no joint variation. So I'm putting a Google form on Google Classroom with a few problems on it. What I need you to do is work that out on the Google form and just submit it right back on the Google Classroom. It'll have a place there where you can just turn it in. I will get it, check it off for you. Also, please realize your Delta Math is counting for completion grade unless it is a quiz or a test we're taking on Delta Math, which we will do. So don't sweat too bad if your Delta Math is telling you got 88% or whatever. I know you're completing them. Make sure you're using the tools I talked about at the beginning of the video. Make sure you're doing your best because you're going to have to do your best on your quiz or test coming up. Miss seeing you guys. Hope it's not being too bad for you. And look for your Google Doc today on Google Classroom and fill it out, turn it in for your homework tomorrow. No Delta Math today, all right? Just the Google Doc for your assignment. So I hope to see you some days again pretty soon. So have a good one.